ball. Stretch, stretch, stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. Can I spit that out today? Welcome back to the Sports Circus, segment 2. Be sure to follow the Sports Circus on Twitter at the Sports Circus. At the Sports Circus. It's probably on the bottom of your screen somewhere. Hopefully it'll be there soon. Anyway, follow us. We have about 22,000 followers on Twitter, and the show is absolutely blowing up. So this segment's brought to you by the Sports Circus. Not any of the sponsors. You saw their commercials in between on break. So we're going to continue on just a little bit more with the NCAA. And I think about the value received for a degree. You think about the revenues that go into the schools. The biggest impact from college basketball, for example, from UNC Chapel Hill, is their basketball program, of course. The football program's, it's pretty good. The basketball program is certainly right in the limelight. But the taxpayers, this is the real impact, folks. The taxpayers actually have part of their real estate taxes, part of their sales taxes, their income taxes for the state and the county, whatever, they go into the school system. So really, it's the taxpayers, ultimately, that are getting ripped off. The taxpayers expect more from their state university. And frankly, as a taxpayer myself, I want to make sure that my taxes go to something of value, so there's value received in the community and the economy. So, it is a sports show, and we're talking sports, but this is the back end of it that nobody really sees in the sporting world. How does it affect each and every one of you? That's what we're talking about today. This is a problem because if we're paying X amount in taxes, where's our tax money going? Now, if you have kids, what happens? You want to send your kids to the right schools after high school. Hopefully they'll go to college. And if you're in the state of North Carolina, or if you're anywhere around the country and you're thinking about sending your kids to the University of North Carolina, well, guess what? Now we know that they have fraudulent classes. And they admitted it. Yes, bogus classes. It's completely ridiculous, again. So why would you consider sending your kids to a school that cheats? Now, if they cheat in the classroom, where else do they cheat? I don't know. Do they cheat in life? Probably, because at some point they allowed it to happen. That means these are your top officials, and then they battle the NCAA Rules and Regulations Committee, which is really funny because you're supposed to stop digging when you're 6 feet deep. Oh, not these guys. No, they're already 50 feet deep and they're still digging. So the problem is this. When you have a problem, mitigate the problem. They're not mitigating the problem. They're challenging and saying, well, we didn't do anything wrong. Really? Yet they admit that the classes were fraudulent and bogus. So I ask you, all those people listening, maybe there's 3 of you, maybe there's 3 million, I don't know. But all you people listening and watching, would you rather have your money go to something real and your kids rather go to somewhere that is real and they're not going to basically wear a black eye academically because the school admitted for years they cheated? So, it may be a little tirade about all of this academic stuff, but let me tell you, education is the building blocks of economics. It makes the world go round, and that's why we have a beautiful basketball floor to play on. That's why we have televisions and studios. And that's why we have people in jobs, and we have couches. We have all kinds of neat stuff. The fact is, we have our lives because it's all brought to you at some point by education, right? You learn as you go. So, unfortunately, the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill has completely diminished and damaged the academic institution, and frankly, I'm ashamed of them. I feel horrible for the ACC and for all the students and the people that paid into this. Imagine the impact and what they have to endure because they wanted a little extra a few extra wins on the basketball court, so they got a top recruit away from a crosstown rival, or some BS like that. And by the way, Duke, the crosstown rival, does not cheat. They don't have to cheat. It's a great school. It's one of the top 3 schools in America, and those are Princeton, Yale, and Duke in that order. Across the board, with law school, business school, medical school, etc. That's how it works. I've been a recruiter for the last 18 years. I've been in the rodeo for a bit. So for the schools that don't have to cheat, all they are brought under a microscope. People want to find something wrong, and there's nothing wrong. There isn't anything wrong, but they try to find something. So Carolina will try to compete with their crosstown rival. Academically, they cannot. Athletically, maybe they can. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, the revenue drivers for the school and the community are what? Academics. That's it. So, moving on. Now that we're done with that, and we've burnt, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so talking about it, and we have a clock that's frozen. So, at the end of the day, we have a we have a Stanley Cup final that is about to start, with a very unlikely Nashville Predators versus Kid Crybaby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kid Crybaby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, in case you didn't hear me the first time. So, Nashville was certainly not supposed to be there. The ideal matchup was the Chicago Blackhawks. That didn't work. Nashville eliminated everybody in their path, and rightfully so. This is a very young, good, strong, hungry team. And of course, cheap shot it against Anaheim from Ryan Getzlaff and the gang. Actually, it's Ryan Kessler really was the problem in Anaheim. The #1 cheap shot artist in all of hockey. It's embarrassing for the Ducks to have him. He's a cancer. But anyway, so Nashville is minus one of their top players, and they're going to be able to compete against Pittsburgh, who is certainly loaded offensively, but Pittsburgh has a very, and I mean very questionable goaltender. So I guess the bigger question lies is, with the odds at Pittsburgh 2-3, all right, so you're laying $3 to win $2, basically. If you bet Nashville, you get $13 for every 10 you win. Nashville probably is lesser talented. Well, we know they're certainly lesser talented, but this is a team that hits, they're fast, and they have tremendous goaltending. So, which way do you go on this? I don't know. I look at the two teams side by side. Pittsburgh is heavily stacked up front with Malkin and Crosby and the gang. But if you look at the back end of Ottawa, that's what they beat. The back end of Nashville with Subban and the goalie, Pecorine, you have a team that really, really defensively is ready for a very strong offense. And remember, folks, we talk about this all the time. Defense wins championships. So again, if you look at the Pittsburgh defense versus the, better yet, the Pittsburgh offense versus the Nashville defense, Nashville is a clear-cut winner. Now you look at the Pittsburgh defense versus the Nashville offense. Folks, Nashville actually is better in that matchup. So, and how can you say with Kid Crybaby and Malkin that the back end for Nashville is actually stronger? You can, because you have great goaltending and you have great defensemen. And with mediocre offense, that team could beat any team, and they've already proven it. They've already beaten some great teams along the way. And this is no mistake. This Nashville team absolutely belongs there. They're going to bring a lunch pail. They're going to bring a hard hat to work for the 7-game series that they're going into. And without a question, the Nashville Predators are going to give Pittsburgh everything they can. And I look for Nashville to somehow find a way to get a split in Pittsburgh out of the first 2 games. They're going to take care of business at home because that's what they do. And I think Nashville can win this series in 6 games. Right. 6 games. I know. Look, everybody says, well, you're on crack and all this other. Look, at the end of the day, Nashville is a more sound defensive team. When you think about offense versus defense, pick your favorite sport. Again, defense wins championships. Sure, you could score 10 goals in a game. If you're going to give up 11, it doesn't matter. Pittsburgh goalie has been pulled. Marc-Andre Fleury has been pulled, and he has a history of being pulled in the postseason. And folks, that is a really bad thing. It gets in the psyche of himself, his teammates, and it makes the offense press a little bit more. So honestly, I'd rather have a sound defense and a sound goalie and Pecorine to close out the series, and hopefully we'll see Nashville win their first Stanley Cup final. So you heard it here first on the Sports Circus, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.